Welcome to Out of the Box podcast, where we will be talking about everything adoption from the adoptee point of view and most likely very random topics. Oh, I'm A.
And I'm G. And buckle up because we don't know what we're starting, and it's going to be crazy because who knows what we'll vomit out of our mouth during these conversations. I just, let's get into it though. Why did we choose the title? And why did we want to start a podcast? Because, anyone can start a podcast. You just need a reason. And May and I wanted to start this specifically because many people on our platforms who related to our adoption story and journey really thought that we were funny people. Why? I don't know. But
it's the trauma.
Yeah, so people wanted a podcast, something that would connect us with the adoptee community, and something that lacks a lot in society, but also in day to day, we don't really talk about it because, I don't know, depends on where you're from. Is adoption popular there? Are you the only one who's a minority, or are you just, you've always known you're adopted, but really couldn't have a group to talk with?
Yeah.
So we wanted this to be open and a safe space for those who are going through some of the same emotions, but also grew up alone and didn't have that sense of community that they were looking for when they were younger.
Yeah. We would also like to invite those who are parents of adoptees who would like to listen to the side of the adoptee in their journey. Along with adopted parents, we also want to reach out to those who want to adopt a child potentially and want to be educated from the adoptee perspective. G and I have had the honor of talking to a few potential adoptee parents who are looking to foster kids and just wanted to know what to expect.
Yeah.
Kind of before going into it and truly deciding if that's what they want to do. And I don't know. I think we were pretty helpful.
I think it just gives a different perspective because everyone could say they want to adopt.
Yeah.
But no one is going to know how an adoptee feels unless you're a fellow adoptee. And that is something that connects us, I think, and bonds us together, is the fact that, we only know how everyone, each other feel because we're the only people that have gone through it.
Yeah.
We might have different experiences and stories, but we all share in the same emotions and the trauma that comes with adoption.
Yeah. And with this podcast, we hope to create a safe and supportive environment where listeners can relate to shared experiences, but also know that they're not alone.
Yeah. And that's really important because growing up, I don't know about everyone else, but I don't think me and you ever had a sense of adoption community because there wasn't many adoptees.
Yeah.
And that's just in our community, so that it might just depend on where you live. But I know growing up, me and you never felt like we had our own sense of community when it came to adoption.
Yeah, no, I think it really depends on the environment that you're grown up in, and our environment was very predominantly white.
Yeah.
And pretty secluded because we went to private school, and we'll talk all about that
later
in a future episode. But let's get into the story behind the title of the podcast.
So we came up with Out of the Box because, long story short, our story started in a box.
And literally.
Literally. We started in a box, left on the streets of China, and now we're here. We're out of the box, you could say, and living life to the fullest. I don't know if fullest is the right word, but living life.
Yeah.
Thriving, surviving.
I'm surviving. I'm not thriving just yet.
Yeah, we're surviving, okay? But we needed a title that would capture and emulate what we're talking about in our podcast. So Out of the Box seems very subtle and play on words with how adoption has treated us, and just in general, the wide variety of topics that we can talk about.
Yeah.
It's just going to be out of the box. It's going to be random. There's going to be weird conversations we might have. There will be different views and in future episodes.
And it's dark humor. If
Yeah.
So heads up right now, warning. If you don't like dark humor, this podcast probably is not going to be for you. But any adoptee I know loves dark humor. I think it's also how we cope with the trauma.
Yeah.
And I think it's what makes us funny.
It is. It's definitely a personality trait.
Yeah.
And I definitely, if dark humor is not for you, this is not going to be your podcast.
Yeah, you're going to hate it, or you're going to be like some of those folks where if I say a dark joke in front of you, you're going to be like, do I laugh at that? Do I feel bad for you for that?
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know how to feel.
Yeah. And a lot of, like, the reasoning behind why we wanted to do this, too, is just because, like, it's going to be therapeutic for me and you in general.
I know, we haven't really...
And I think dark humor is something that, like, helps with, like, the awkwardness and the, like... I don't want to say scared to, like, share, but, like, we fall back on dark humor to express our emotions. And what's the saying? If you don't laugh, you cry.
I was just going to say that. I was like, well, if I don't make a jokey joke, I'm going to just be depressed.
Yeah. And so you might as well laugh about it. And if we're laughing about it, you can laugh along with us.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people are uncomfortable with, and they don't know if they're allowed to. So this is us saying, yes, you can laugh along with us on the dark jokes.
We hope you laugh.
Yeah, because if not, we're just laughing alone, and that's
sad.
A little sad.
So let's get more into a little bit more about us. I know G just kind of briefly mentioned how we started on the street in a box, which is very, very true.
No, we were lying.
We were lying. No, it was very true. But yeah, we were left on the sidewalk in a box, probably in the cold.
But this was also during the time of the one-child policy.
Yeah.
And I need people to know that before we're like, oh no, we were tossed out like trash. We kind of were.
We were.
But, like, I don't necessarily think, like, it could have been on purpose. It could have been this, but, like, we were born during the one-child policy. So that is what we are heavily, like, relying on, the reasoning behind being left, and the fact that just we were girls. And girls were not seen as important back in the day as men. So
Karma is a beach, though.
Yeah.
Because guess who is gonna run out of people?
Like, they can't produce children because there's not enough women.
Like, could have seen that one coming if you asked me.
But so yeah, we were taken to the orphanage and, you know, passed around in the foster system for a few years, and then we, I don't know how, got adopted, and by two white folks. And when I say white folks, I mean, like, white as white can be, and came to America. I was gonna say the Great.
I literally was gonna say, do not say America the Great, because it's not so great.
It's not so great anymore.
It was great, and it still is one of the better countries, but
we're going downhill.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just came to the U.S. and we haven't left.
Yeah, we've been here most of our life.
Yeah. And we do not see ourselves, or at least I don't see myself leaving.
I don't see myself leaving the U.S. Would I ever leave Washington State? Maybe. It depends.
So that was just, like, a short overview of May and I's, like, how we got here. But obviously we will go more in depth if that is something that you guys want to hear more about. I know we share common stories from other interracial adoptees who are also in the U.S. We have similar backgrounds. But yeah.
So thanks for tuning in to Out of the Box, the very first episode. We hope you enjoyed this. We're thrilled to be on this journey with you, and we can't wait to see where this takes us.
It's going to be rocky for the first couple episodes, so bear with us as we navigate this. But don't forget to subscribe and help spread the word, and keep the conversation going. And also, if you guys have any other adoption stories, questions or topics that May and I should do in the future. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, keep listening, keep loving, and keep embracing your journey.
We'll see you later, guys.